Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin with breaking news in the trial of that former police officer who responded to the massacre at Robb Elementary. A jury found former Uvalde CISD police officer Adrian Gonzales not guilty. He was one of the first on the scene at the school shooting that killed more than 20 kids and teachers 4 years ago in Uvalde. Fox 7's Jenna King has been following this trial since day one and joins us in the newsroom with details. Jenna.
Mike, the jury again finally reaching a not guilty verdict after deliberating since around 12:30 this afternoon. Of course, lots of emotion could be seen in the courtroom after that verdict came down. Gonzales even letting out a big sigh himself and getting emotional, something he didn't appear to show for a majority of this trial. The defense and Gonzales addressing the public after the decision was reached.
First things first, I want to start by thanking God for this, my family, my wife. And these guys are here. He put them in my path, you know, and I'm just thankful for that. And thank you for the jury for considering all the evidence and making that verdict.
Here's what happened today in court before the verdict was reached.
He's not
Jury deliberations happening in week 3 of the trial of former Uvalde CISD officer Adrian Gonzales. Gonzales is accused of failing to act during the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting.
As citizens, we have the right to expect that. When we call for help, we have the right to expect somebody that has put on the badge and put on the gun and put protect and serve on the side of their car will do that when we call.
Gonzales has pleaded not guilty to 29 charges of child endangerment. He did not testify in his own defense. Prosecutors argue that Gonzales failed to follow his training, saying he should have advanced toward the gunfire. The state believes he could have helped save the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers instead of placing them in danger.
If it's appropriate to stand outside hearing 100 shots while children are being slaughtered, that is your decision to tell the state of Texas. And by the same token, if that is not appropriate, that is not how we expect officers that are charged with the duty of protecting children to act.
The state rested their case after 9 days of testimony. Jurors hearing from numerous witnesses, from parents to teachers, other staff, to law enforcement experts, medical and mental health experts. The defense rested after calling just 2 witnesses to the stand, including a police tactics expert who said Gonzales did the best he could with the information he had. The defense arguing the entire trial, the gunman is responsible for killing the children, not Gonzales.
The government, the power of the state, has decided that he has to pay for the failures of that day, for the mistakes that were made that day, and for all the pain that they did.
Defense attorney Jason Goss arguing the memory of the lives lost will not be honored by convicting Gonzales. He said a guilty verdict could impact how law enforcement responds to these situations moving forward.
We cannot have law enforcement feel that way, feel like if they're not perfect, if they don't make a perfect decision, and that's where you go. Where the family goes right there. There's nothing that's going to bring these kids back. There's nothing ever is going to solve that pain. Nothing, not that.
All 12 jurors had to be unanimous in the verdict. Defense attorney Nico LaHood saying that there are no winners, of course, in this case, and says it's a bittersweet moment for the team. The other officer charged in the police response is Pete Arredondo. His trial has yet to be scheduled. I'm reporting in the newsroom, Jenna King, Fox 7 Austin News.